Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Mom, dear, this is your 80th birthday. What do you contribute your long life to? How have you lived so long and healthy and be so alert and remember everybody's birthday? Why are you rolling your eyes at me? Why are you interviewing me?
Well, I contribute my good health to taking vitamins and being happy all the time and trying to get along with everybody and being a good person, I guess.
Well, you did a good job at that.
Well, thank you.
What are some of your memories during your childhood? What was your childhood like?
Oh, I know one time when I was about 5 or 6 years old, we went down to Coney Island and we rode a train down there, and my great uncle Joe Moster took us down. And it had rained the night before, and we come to this great big sliding board, and I wanted to slide down it, and my mother says, go ask your dad. And Dad said I could, so I slid down and landed in the mud puddle. Mom got mad at me, took me in the ladies' restroom, took my dress off and washed it, and I had to walk around the rest of the day in a wet dress.
Yeah.
That's the biggest childhood memory I have.
And then you grew up during the years of the Depression, too.
Yes, I did.
And what was that like?
Well, that wasn't much fun. My dad was out of a job, and he went from house to house selling Electrolux sweepers, knocking on everybody's door.
At least that's what he told you he was doing.
That's what he said.
Okay. Okay. And what did your mom do?
But she stayed home and cooked because she had Joe and me, and well, then we were living in Uncle Joe Moster's house, and he was there, and then finally Mom's mother died, and then Grandpa Malik came over and lived with us there too, so she had 6 people to cook for her all the time.
So Uncle Joe Moster was your mother's brother?
No, that was my dad's uncle. He was related to my grandmother.
And then what else was going on when you were first married? That was still in the Depression era, or right after the Depression.
Well, that was in '44. That was while the Second World War was going on. Well, we lived on a farm over there on Contreras Road out of Oxford, just across the Ohio-Indiana line.
That big white farmhouse.
Yeah,
You
it wasn't
lived
white
upstairs?
then. It was a faded brick.
Yeah, they painted that brick white.
Mhm.
And who lived upstairs and who lived downstairs?
Well, your dad and I lived upstairs, and Alberta and Marion, and they had Marcia and Karen, and Alberta was pregnant with Donna Sue. And then they had the 3 girls, and they lived down there a little while, and then when I got pregnant with Don, we moved downstairs, and they moved up on 27 somewhere, up near Marion's folks.
Where was Grandpa or Grandma Geis at that time?
She was up in Richmond. They called it, I forget what they called it, but it was like, what was the nut house down in Cincinnati?
It was like
Longview.
Longview, okay.
Yeah, and
It's like did they call it an insane asylum?
it was
or-
Eastview's what they called it.
Okay. What was it like there?
Well, it was nice there though, and after Bob was born, I went up there. Well, I told your dad I would like to bring her home, so we went up to see her. We asked her if we could bring her out, and they says, yeah, you take her medicine with her. And she was real good to you and at the house.
Yeah, but what kind of medicine was she on? What was it for?
Just kind of nerves and stuff, because her sister, Elizabeth, which was Kate Lorenz's mother, always told her that her husband, Jean's dad, was running around with other women. And so that,
Why would she say
just pried on her mind and kind of got to her.
So this was after he died? She told him that, or while they were still married?
Well, no, while they were married, and he hadn't died yet, and your dad and I weren't married. I didn't even know your dad existed. And anyhow, they said that's what did it, because she didn't get to our wedding. She was up there then. So,
Well, what was one of your most happy days, like as far as between, like during the 50s and 60s?
can't remember.
Too many kids.
Too many kids to remember all that, yeah.
Okay, well, let someone else ask you some questions.
Bob, who's your favorite daughter?
Well, I don't know.
would
I
be
guess
me.
this one.
Who's your least favorite daughter?
Another one.
Who's your uncle's daughter?
Oh boy. Oh, I dread this if he's coming.
No, I'm not saying
Oh, I thought you were going to ask me some questions.
What are your memories of the Civil War?
Just whatever I learned in the history book.
Now, wasn't
Good answer.
Aren't you eligible to be a daughter of the American Revolution?
I probably could be,
Yeah,
yeah, with 2 sons and a son-in-law and a brother and a dad that were in service. My dad was in the Army during the First World War.
But what, don't you have an ancestor who was in the American Revolution, though?
Yeah, I believe my mother's father was in that.
Yeah, we mentioned that your mom wanted you to do that, or someone wanted you to become a daughter of the American Revolution.
What?
What would you like to ask Grandma?
Hi, Tyler.
Okay. Jason, what would you like to ask Grandma?
What?
My mommy.
What'd he say?
Jeffrey, come over here.
Oh, Lord. This is another interview.
Okay, Grandma, buckle up. You ready for this?
Yeah, well, I have to be, I guess.
Okay.
What?
How
What?
how would you like to most be remembered?
Oh, I don't know. Happy and goofy and everything. Just my normal self.
That's kind of how people think of Jeff.
What? And then what advice would you have for your grandkids and your great-grandkids as we start out?
Well, if you want to be happy and goofy, you can be like me.
Here, give him this one.
Otherwise,